Hi, everyone. Welcome to Plug In and Power Up. I'm so grateful to be here with you. When you tune in, please let me know that you can hear me okay. I'm testing out a new mic and I want to make sure that you guys can hear me clearly. And if at any point you can't hear me, please let me know so that I can unplug it and we'll the mic that's set up in the laptop. So I'm going to hit go live here on Instagram and then we're going to get started. Welcome, everyone. I'm so grateful to be here with you for some plug in and power up. Today's topic is all around the nervous system, really diving into our own central nervous system and how to really reset, rebalance it, especially in the face of change, chaos, healing, growth, odd circumstances that happen. We get hit in the nervous system many times. And so I want to unpack this a little bit because there's a lot of conversation talk happening these days around the nervous system. And if this resonates with you, please give me a thumbs up or say, yes, this is my jam. Like I get this whole nervous system conversation and I'd like to dive deeper because I always like to poll our clients and community and find out what's in the best good for them. And this nervous system conversation keeps coming up. And I think for good reason, because as we spiritually grow, as we evolve, we open up to deeper levels of ourselves, right? And so I think this nervous system conversation is going to be very powerful today. When you arrive, say hi. Let me know that you're here. Give me a wave. Say hi. I'm tuning in on Facebook, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. And so I'm hoping that the mic and all the sound sounds good and everything is working in the way that it's supposed to. Please say hi when you arrive. And I'm just going to do a quick little introduction of myself for those of you that are just getting to know me. My name is Tara Antler, and I am an intuitive healer, soul coach, and spiritual mentor. And I've been doing this non-work. I call it non-work because it's never felt like work. Hi, Tika. It's never felt like work because it's been in alignment with my truth, my path, my purpose. Hi, Mandy. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And so this work, this non-work, has been one of the most powerful pieces along my journey, not only for the clients that I've worked with and the tens of thousands of clients that I've been able to help and support and move through their own stuff, but also through my own. It's been a really big part of my journey. And just because, you have certain years under your belt, you know certain things about certain things, doesn't mean you don't face your own stuff. You do. But I think that's part of the journey. That's part of our refinement. When we can learn, heal, grow, shift, evolve, and keep growing, not just say, okay, well, I've made it. I'm here. I get all of this, we stop our own growth. We stop our next level from coming in. And a lot of times, our next level will also require a shift in our nervous system, meaning your capacity to hold more, your capacity to grow to your next level, your capacity to also release what's been stored in your nervous system. And that's really what I'd like to dive into today with you all, okay? So let me know that you can hear me clearly. Mic is working. That would be really helpful. And then I'm going to continue on in our conversation. So while we're doing this, again, I mentioned this last week in our conversation around healing. If you haven't yet watched that Plug In and Power Up, I highly recommend that you do, especially over on Facebook. They release those videos after 30 days. So if you haven't yet watched that one from last week, I highly recommend that you go back because it was a really powerful conversation around what happens when things come up out of the blue that shake us, that rattle us, that stir us, that we really orchestrate circumstances and events for us, for our healing, for our transformation. And many times they don't feel good. They're not the bright and shiny. They're not like the, woo, this feels amazing. It's a trigger, but that trigger is there to release us. Now, I want to talk a little bit deeper into the nervous system today because it came up last week. That's why I'm referring back to that video. If you haven't yet watched it, go back and watch it. If you're on Instagram, same thing. It's there from last week. And I believe YouTube, LinkedIn, same thing. So when it comes to our nervous system, let's first establish what happens with our nervous system. Your central nervous system is one of the first things besides the heart. The heart is the very first thing to develop in utero. Next will be your central nervous system. And that central nervous system is not just connected to nerves and stress and all the things. It is the electrical system of your body. So when we grow up, when we experience traumatic things in our childhood, especially in our childhood, in those formative years between 0, I would say even as high as 21, if we experience any sort of traumatic events, things that have shaken us, stirred us, rocked us, things that were traumatizing, things that were really intense, back then, most of us didn't have the tools. I know I didn't have the tools back then and how to clear and heal and transform and alchemize. I'm so grateful because I look at our kids now Hi, Tara. Our kids now, they do have the tools. I watch how they navigate their emotions and how they move through stuff. It's so fast. How they reach forgiveness, it's so fast. And part of it comes from not being afraid to look at the stuff, not being afraid to look at what's coming up for you, not being afraid to look at what's triggering you, what's upsetting you, what's hurt you, but then be able to forgive it, move through it, apologize, take responsibility, and move on and grow. This is how we grow. You can't grow by holding on to the past. You cannot grow by holding on to the things that do not serve you. You can't grow by sitting in resentment and conflict or pretending or avoiding or putting things under a carpet and thinking that it's all going to be okay. You don't grow that way. You don't. You just put a band-aid over it. You just put a pretty little carpet over top and think that it's all going to be okay. That is not healing. That is not transformation. And I think most of us have most likely done that at some point along our journey. And again, it's not our fault. It's because we didn't have the tools. We didn't know how to heal. We didn't know how to clear. We didn't have the tools for this healing. Many of you now do have the tools for healing. And this is why I'm so happy that these conversations are more prevalent in the world and on social media, because this means we're all going to get to evolve and grow much more quickly than back in the day, 23 years ago, 25 years ago, when I really started diving into this work. We were an anomaly. We were one of the first to talk about healing and transformation and alchemization. Now I am so grateful this conversation is common. This is common to want to heal, to want to grow, to want to shift. Hi, Megan. Nice to see you. So let me know in the comments, when it comes to your own healing, is this something that is new to you? Are you just starting the path of healing and transformation? Someone's trying to call on my phone, so let me just X that out. Or would you say, a more seasoned? Like, you've been doing this healing stuff for a little while now, and maybe let me know how long so that I know who's here in the room. And if you're somewhere in the middle where you're like, I'm not new to healing, I've been doing this for a short time, but it's still relatively new, like I'm learning a lot. Let me know in the comments where y'all are at on this, okay? Because it's going to help me steer the conversation and where we go. When it comes to our nervous system, so let's come back to establishing what happens, right? When you're in utero, whatever your mom, her stressors, your dad, the world stressors, that all affects her system, which affects your nervous system. So many times we come into the world and we already have an effect, we already have an influence, we already have a certain program that's running that's either going to help us sail through certain chaotic events, or we get triggered by them, or our nervous system starts to react quite heavily. Whereas other children, they may not. They might have had a really easy, relatively pleasant experience in utero. Maybe the mom had a really relatively, chill experience while she was pregnant. And you come into the world and you're like, no, I'm good. Like, my nervous system feels really intact. It feels really neutral. It feels really calm. I'm good to go. You might be then one of those people that knows how to coolly stay calm when it comes to crazy scenarios and situations like I talked about last week, right? I've been healing myself since around 5 or 6. That's amazing, Megan, like so powerful. And so, being that Megan's been doing this healing work for a really long time, she would have a very keen sense and awareness of her own healing journey process, triggers, her nervous system, because your nervous system is going to be one of the first pieces that starts to talk to you when the hits the fan. Okay, when stuff comes up, when there's a lot of intense things that happen, your nervous system is going to be one of the first physical pieces to feel it. So Dominic is saying, thanks, Tara. I have been feeding myself with real food for my body, spirit, and mind. By that, I mean, I make my own food, I read, I meditate, take care of my body and mind. Great stuff as usual. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's amazing, right? So you're talking about the holistic perspective, which I love the holistic perspective. I think that tending to all parts of ourselves are really, really important when it comes to our healing, our transformation, and our elevation. And what I've seen over time in working with clients is that many people will tend to just the body or just the food, but then they ignore all the emotions or the mental or the spiritual, and the stuff still starts to show. And usually, okay, this is the path that I've watched, not all people, but most people walk. And again, this is coming from experience of 23 years as a holistic healer, a spiritual teacher. I've worked with more than 14,000 clients one-to-one. And what I've seen in most people, their journeys will start usually with some sort of mental, emotional, or physical breakdown. And then once that's tended to and looked at, then the other areas of the life start to open up, right? If they start with the physical, then the emotional and the mental start to open up. If they start with the emotional, the mental and the body start to open up. And eventually the path leads to the spiritual. And the spiritual healing is where I believe you get your greatest expansion, resolution, freedom, and forgiveness from. That's where ultimate freedom and forgiveness will come from. But we have this journey that we walk, and your nervous system plays a really big part in this healing process. Because let's say again, like let's back up the conversation. Let's say in childhood you had something that happened, and I'm sure all of us, like I've never met one person along this journey that has not had something crazy. Crazy could be shades of crazy, right? Shades of trauma, shades of intensity. But I've not met one single person who has not had something wild that has not happened, that hasn't happened to them. Like everybody has, okay? So this is where I would say we're not unique in the respect of going through a traumatic experience. I don't think that's unique. What's unique is the particulars, the experience, the details of that experience. That's what's unique to you and I. We could both experience some sort of abuse on some level, and it could be completely different types, different levels, different people, different degrees, right? We could all experience grief to different degrees, to different levels, right? We could all experience heartbreak, betrayal on different levels, different degrees, based on the scenario, all right? So what happens is, if in the moment that stuff hits the fan, something happens, and we do not have the tools, we don't have the resources, we don't have the support, what happens is it hits our energetic body first. That's where it really hits. It hits our spiritual energetic body first. Then the chakras start rearranging and doing all sorts of things to try to adapt and figure out what's going on and navigate this whole thing from an energetic perspective. If it's not caught there in the energetic, which for most of us it's not, back then when we don't have the tools, like Megan, you might be able to catch things that happen in your energy field before they even hit your body now, because you've been doing this work for so long. The longer that you're aware and you're doing this internal work, you can actually catch when something's off in your energy field before it hits your life. That's essentially where we all would love to get to, right? However, most people, it doesn't. And then it comes in, and sometimes it splices through all the layers in one go. It splices through the energy, through our astral body, through our thought body, our thoughts, through our emotions, and sometimes it hits the physical. And when there's something that's really jarring, emotionally jarring, physically jarring, mentally jarring, spiritually jarring, if we haven't tended to it, the nervous system gets affected by it. This is where back in the day, it used to just be fight or flight. Then along the way, it was like fight, flight, or freeze. And recently I've heard fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. This is getting complicated, okay? I like to simplify things. I do believe there's a fight, flight, or freeze response. And if I keep it to those three and simplify it, because all the others start to get very complicated and then we get confused. I like simplifying things. So if I keep it to those three, we are either going to have a fight response where we're going to arm up, we're going to retaliate, we're going to fight back. That's the warrior energy. The flight is we run. This is too much. This is scary. It's like if a bear was coming, this is scary. I'm out of here. We run. Other people don't know what to do in that moment and they freeze. No movement, freeze. What happens for most people is that if we haven't healed in that moment, when the trauma happens, when the issue happens, when the whatever it is that's happened, when the experience has happened, most of us didn't know back then how to deal with this stuff. It affects the nervous system to the point where the nervous system literally encapsulates it, it grabs it in protection of you, your life, your biology. It grabs it, it pulls it in, it coils it, spirals it, and it hides it in your body. It first starts to hide it in your nervous system, your central nervous system, from the back of your head all the way down your spine to the tip of your tailbone where it curls. It hides stuff in your nervous system. And when it hides it in the nervous system, it can hang out there for years. And it's doing that as a mechanism of safety. This is crazy. This is scary. This is intense. This is too much. I don't have the tools to deal with this. You don't have the tools to deal with this. I'm going to hold it for you until the day comes when you're ready. And then we're going to heal it. And that could be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 years. This is why I am so passionate about people learning the tools to properly self-heal, because the faster you self-heal, the less time you have to carry this stuff. The more time you have to carry your stuff, the more impact it has on your body. Your body will start to break down because it can only hold stuff for so long. The body will start to break down. Skin issues, nervous system issues, depression, anxiety, joint issues, arthritis, worst case scenario, cancers, all sorts of things start to develop because the body's been holding on to some mass matter that you couldn't deal with. That was really intense. Last week, I talked about we will attract to us scenarios that are similar in vibration and energy to open and unlock whatever that stuff is that we've been hiding, whatever we've been holding. It will create a scenario and a situation that then gives us an opportunity to actually confront and heal and face it. But if you don't have the tools, when you face it, it's like another layer and it goes back in and your body will encapsulate it again. And so you just go in and you go in and you go in and you go in and you go in. And this is where healing, they'll say healing it's like layers of an onion. This is something I learned 25 years ago. Actually, I think I learned about this when I was 14. There are layers to our being. And when there's an issue, a trauma, and then there's another layer and 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 another layer. When we're peeling back these layers, and I learned this in spiritual psychotherapy, when you're peeling back the layers, there are times that your consciousness is able to peel back many layers at a time, and then you're going to be good for a while because you don't always want to be in the healing response, the healing phase. It's really hard on your nervous system. I remember learning about this when I did my level 1 Reiki when I was 25. If you do level 1, level 2, level 3, all in one go, it can be a lot for your nervous system. You can actually blow out your nervous system. I talked to a woman who she did such an opening in her Kundalini energy, the energy that rises from the base of your spine all the way up, that it fried her nervous system. She had sparks coming out her fingertips. It fried her nervous system. And it took her years to heal her nervous system. Your nervous system is there to regulate and also protect you. It senses, it feels, it regulates. It's constantly doing this. It's a regulator. And it's responding to the external world. Okay? So when you learn tools to heal and you learn tools to regulate your nervous system, like breathing. Back then we used to call it pranayama. Now they call it breath work. It's the same thing. Breathing. Actually, in psychotherapy, we just call it breathing. Now it's called breath work. It's all the same thing. Pranayama, breathing, breath work, same thing. It's the same thing. Just new names, different era. That's all it is. Same thing. When you learn to breathe, when you learn to meditate, when you learn to heal and actually move and process these emotions and these energies that come up, you free yourself from it. And this is why it's so important to have the tools to know, because there will come a time where it catches you by surprise, where you're shocked by what's coming out of you. You're shocked by a circumstance or an event. Like I talked about last week, circumstances and events are orchestrated by you and your higher self to free you. So it will create experiences and reactions to have this stuff come up and out. But it's important for it to come up and out, but then it's important for you to know how to actually heal it and clear the layers. Now, some people will clear chunks at a time. Some people will only be able to handle one layer, like one little piece at a time. And eventually we get to the core. And once we get to the core of who we are, you get to the core of where that initial wound began. And once you heal that initial wound, you let yourself be complete with it. This is where the forgiveness work then comes in. And when you forgive and you release, it's done, it's gone. You don't revisit it. You don't keep talking about it. You don't keep feeding it, because that's going to rattle your nervous system. And your nervous system is doing its best to heal itself from this stuff. Especially after you've gone through some healing, it will do its best to keep regulating you. But if you keep cracking it open, or you keep going back in there, digging up dirt for more, or you keep rehashing it, or you keep reliving it, you're putting extra strain and stress on your nervous system. I remember this from when I birthed the babies, both the twins and with Aria. I couldn't talk about my birth experience for weeks. Because every time I started to talk about it, and like that's a normal thing, right? People come in, they're like, oh my God, how was your birth? And I had great births, but it was still intense, really intense. And every time I'd start talking about it, I'd feel my nervous system, I'd start vibrating, I'd start shaking, I'd start feeling this nervous energy. And I was like, I actually can't talk about this until I'm ready, because it's too fresh. It's too early in the game. In my experience, I haven't yet fully integrated or processed or in like I haven't fully gone through the process yet. When I do, then I'll talk about it. And then I'll be able to speak from a very different place than from the initial experience. So keep that in mind too. Whenever you're moving through something, you don't always have to speak about whatever it is that you've gone through, unless you're speaking to somebody who knows how to hold the energy and help you clear it, right? So Kristen's saying ignoring the fawn doesn't help empaths. Empaths have a tendency to people please, which is the fawn response. Are you trained in trauma? Do you have informed trauma response training? I have been trained as a holistic healthcare practitioner. I have been trained as a spiritual practitioner. I've been trained as a counselor. I have been trained in almost every modality you could possibly imagine. So I'm not officially trained in the trauma response training as of today. However, I have been trained and I've worked with so many people who have released so much stuff that would, like, if I told you stories, it would make your head spin like Beetlejuice. And so I know how to move people through trauma, very deep wounding, like people who have lived in cages, people who were burned, people who were severely abused on every level you could possibly imagine. And I intuitively, and also through my training, have known how to. This is where we have to catch this, because there's this battle happening right now from this trauma informed training world that comes with a bit of an attack energy, like, are you a trauma informed? And if you're not, you don't know what you're talking about. And that's not true. I studied with some of the people who started these movements long ago, like 30, 40 years ago. And so we have to also watch when we're asking questions like this too, because it comes with a level of drama, and it comes with a level of attack and judgment. So you also want to catch that too, because I may not be officially certified and trained in that, but if you've ever worked with me, and you can talk to any of the clients from the last 23 years that have worked with me, that I've been able to walk through really intense stuff. Like if somebody lived in a cage for the first 11 years of their life and had been abused on every level you could possibly imagine, I would say that I'm qualified to walk people through. Okay. So there are many healers in the world that we've been doing this healing work. I'm now 47. I've been doing this healing work since I was 14. I started meditating and doing breath work before it was called breath work when I was 14. And this is not a proving thing. I don't need to prove myself in this situation, but there's a level that comes with this sort of energy sometimes. And a lot of us healers who have been OGs in the world in this space for a long time, we've been having a lot of really deep conversations about this, because I get that it serves a place. It serves a place. However, it often comes with this attack energy as well, that you are not qualified. And you know what? You got to check that for yourself, because that's the ego that's driving that. From spirit, from soul, from source, from the truth, capital T, will always work to serve, to heal, to help, to support, to elevate, to transform, to alchemize, because that is the highest intention. Whether you believe in God, source, creator, the universe, the divine, if that is the intention, you will be shown a way. Before trauma release training was even a thing, many of us were shown the way. All of my teachers and healers that were trained in holographic release work, Reiki, subtle aromatherapy, spiritual psychotherapy, counseling, we didn't call it breath work back then, we just called it breathing, all sorts of beautiful modalities. They helped me through my own trauma release work without calling it that. And it didn't take a lifetime. It didn't take 5 years. It was a moment. And I have so much respect for my teachers, for my elders, for those who were my mentors. I learned so much from them. And now in today, if we fast forward to today, I have a lot of respect for every modality, but never have I ever come to anybody and come with an energy of attack on, do you know what you're talking about? Or are you trained as there are healers who have never been trained officially in anything, who are the most exceptional healers in the world, because it's their truth, it's their purpose, and it's their passion. It's what they came here for. I know for myself, I'm one of those. And anybody who's known me for any length of time will attest to that. Okay. So to answer that question, which I appreciate, we just have to catch it. Okay. And the fawning response, I'm an empath. I feel everything. I am clairvoyant, clairsentient, Claire everything. I'm Claire everything without going into a whole other topic of conversation. I am intuitively sensitive on every level you could possibly imagine. I have seen, I have felt, I have heard, I have experienced stuff, you guys, that like honestly, if I told you some of the stories, your head would spin like Beetlejuice. Okay? Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Tara. And so, coming back to, because I really want to give you some tools to start to work with your own nervous system, all right? Like we opened up the conversation last week around when circumstances and events are created, they're created to help us open up. It's just what happens when things open up, okay? And this is what's most uncomfortable for a lot of people is that the experience comes flooding back. The emotions from that event come coming back. And it's not just the immediate event. You might have a response and a reaction to the immediate thing that's happening, but it's usually cracking open layers of those experiences from the past. And for me, every single time I've had something really big that shifted, now I'm talking like really big stuff from my past, there have been layers upon layers, chunks upon chunks that have cleared at a time. Every now and then, there will be these crazy, wild, I call them divinely orchestrated events to crack open an even deeper layer that opens something up inside of us that unlocks. That's what's happening. It's unlocking the buried trauma, little t, because that's not your truth. So it's little t, okay? And what I mean by little t is that it's an experience that's happened. We don't want to let it rule our life. We want truth to rule our life, like the highest truth, right? And so when this unlocks, it opens. And when it opens, we feel something about it. You might have a rush, a flood of memories. Your body might start vibrating. This is what's happened to me many times. I've watched tens of thousands. Again, for those of you that are just getting to know me, I've worked with more than 15,000 clients one-to-one. Okay, that's a lot. So when I say I know what I'm talking about, I know what I'm talking about. All right, without having to prove or justify anything. When I have seen clients, when things have opened up, when things have been unlocked for myself, for other people, the body starts shaking. The body starts vibrating. The body starts having this like almost like a convulsion. The teeth start chattering, right? Because the nervous system, whatever's been curled up and holding inside, it opens up and it uncurls and it releases a flood of adrenaline. It's like having a baby. It's the same thing. It's adrenaline rush. It's cortisol. It's all these hormonal rushes that are coming through the body. You've got memories. Stuff is opening up. The body's remembering. The body's unloading. It's unleashing. There's emotions. There's mind. There's thoughts. There's everything. There's the energetics. Like everything is unleashing. And that's where, if you don't have the tools to move yourself through, that's where I would recommend getting some support from whoever you trust to walk you through and guide that. Okay? Because sometimes we just need someone to hold the space. I have my people that I go to and I'm like, I need some help, right? Like, can you hold the space for me? I know what to do, but can you hold the space for me? Hi, Peter. And so in those moments, the flood, the rush is coming up of all this stuff. And this is where I love all the modalities because they all serve a place. You might find yourself breathing in a certain way. As you breathe, you might find yourself sounding like a child. Like when a child's like, that's a deep, 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 like child wound that's happened. And we cry like that to release the energy. I studied with Native Americans, and you know the whalers, like when they're drumming, I love that so much because it's like this visceral, like, like it's this deep visceral cry. And for some, it can be very uncomfortable, but it's a release of energy. We're afraid to release the energy, so we hold it in. This is where it's like learning how to move this energy, but you got to start tending to also your nervous system, which I'm going to talk about in just a second, and how to soothe that. But when the stuff starts coming up, you will have this visceral response. Every time I've watched somebody go through it, or I've walked myself through it, my teeth chatter, my body's vibrating because I'm moving. You got to, and this is where dance, a lot of my favorite people are like, I think of Brooke, she's Dance Alchemy, Misty Tripoli, she does the World Groove movement. This is where body movement is so good. Moving the body, shaking it out, giving it a space to move is really, really important. This is why I love that I had yoga and Qigong in my life since I was 14, because that taught me how to move also energy through breath, through movement, through like moving it, like doing all the things, right, that are associated with yoga and different practices to move the energy, to release it, to fully release it. And while you're releasing it, if you can be conscious enough to say, as I'm releasing this, I release and I let go. And then while you're releasing, you can also be conscious of your spiritual connection. Spirit source, creator, God, the infinite, the divine. Support me in this process. Support me in this release. Support me in this letting go. Whatever, we're all empathic. Okay. This whole thing of classification, like you're an empath and you're not, we are all empathic. We were all born empathic. We are all empathic. We are all empaths. We all feel. We all feel. It's part of your senses. You feel. We feel. We're all empathic. So we all feel. It's just there's degrees in how we feel. Some of us have suppressed and then we got to open. Some of us have ignored, so then we do have to bring it back up to the surface. Some of us have locked it down so far down that then a situation happens and it uncurls and then we're like, holy shit, like what am I going to do with this? This is where learning tools to support you and help you grow are so important, to actually clear the energy. Back in the day, we did holographic release work. We were doing all sorts of really cool energy modalities. There was talk therapy, there was release work, but there was the most powerful for me was actually the energetics. The energetics will heal everything because it's getting to the core, it's getting to the root, it's getting to where it began. It heals it across time and space. Anytime I've ever gone through my own healing, that's what I'm doing for myself. I'm giving my body the space to release and to cry and to move and to breathe and to let go, to watch my thoughts, to watch the memories, to release them, to purge them, to clear them, using source energy, and then giving my body space to cry or to move physically if I need to. And then the most important thing after is to soothe your nervous system. When you have cried, when you have released, when you have healed, when you have transformed something, supporting your nervous system in a gentle, loving, caring, kind way where there's no judgment, there's no attack, there's no guilt, there's no shame is one of the most important things. Because in the moment when that shit went down when we were kids, whatever happened, what we needed most in that moment was for someone who cared and loved us to just hold us and hold us and hold us and hold us and hold us, to hug us and to let us know that we're loved and we're cared for, to put their arms around us and maybe rock us and hold us and say, it's okay, I got you. I studied as a sound practitioner. One of the most powerful, beautiful things that I ever experienced, we were walking people through like a soundscape, a sound journey. Hi, Jenny. Jenny was there for me in a moment when I needed her. I knew, I was like, I need some support with this. And I said, who do I call? And right away I was like, Jenny Bettner, I got to call Jenny Bettner. And Jenny held the space for me. She held it down and helped me be able to process and move. Having your support systems is so important, you guys. But in that moment when something happens, if we all back then would have had someone that could just hold us and hug us and say, it's okay, I got you. It's okay, I got you. And this is what happened in one of my sound healing practitioners when I studied. And I was in that program for a year. So I probably, for those of you that are questioning like who I am, like I got just a moment ago, and my criteria and my credentials, this has been my life's journey. I have more certificates. It could fill a binder. I probably have certificates in like 20 different modalities, maybe more at this point. I love you too. And as a sound healer and practitioner, and if people are wondering like how many years, I have 4 years of university, holistic health sciences or health sciences. I went back to school for 2 years as a holistic healthcare practitioner. I then studied as an angel therapist, a Reiki master, a sound healer practitioner. All these things took about a year. I studied I studied almost every modality under the sun, you guys. I studied shamanic healing. So for anybody that's questioning, if you're just getting to know me and you're wondering if I have official trauma release therapy training, I know myself and I know that I'm qualified. Okay. So one of the things that we require is someone to hold us. And I know this training is going longer than I expected, but it's important. We need love. We need to be held. In the moment after birthing a baby, that can be traumatic. I just wanted someone to hold me. When I was in that sound healing practitioner training, when I was watching people move through deep, deep healing stuff, deep things, we would sit behind them. We would literally get in behind them and hold them from behind and hold them and rock with them. Hold them and love them. Because that rocking motion is so soothing and so healing for people. Okay. So healing and so soothing for people that it restored people. It restored their nervous system. So after you release, after you heal, after you move yourself through, one of the most important things is to have that love and support. Whether it's your kids, if you have kids, if it's your spouse, if you have a spouse, if it's friends, if it's healers, if it's Creator God, the infinite, the divine, if it's nature, if it's wrapping yourself in a warm, fuzzy blanket and laying in a hammock and feeling so safe and so cozy and being held. We would have all loved for our moms and dads to be there in the moments where we were hurt. And we're doing our best to be there for our kiddos when they're hurt. But there's going to be times where I'm going to drop the ball. And hopefully they'll be able to forgive me. Just like there are times that my parents would have dropped the ball. And hopefully I'd be able to forgive them. Just like many times your parents, the people that cared for you, they would have dropped the ball. And hopefully you'd be able to forgive them. So forgiveness is also a part of this. But the forgiveness, you can't push forgiveness. You can't make forgiveness happen sooner than it's ready. You have to walk yourself through, and then you got to be gentle with yourself. You got to cozy up. You got to nurture. You got to support. You got to drink some chamomile tea. You got to do the things that are so nourishing and supportive for you. This is why I love restorative yoga. I was also trained as a restorative yoga instructor. Restorative yoga was one of my favorite things because it was so nurturing and soothing. You're being held by pillows and cushions. And if I would always include Reiki, so I'd be going around holding and doing Reiki for each person in that restorative yoga. That is so key. The thing that we want most is usually the most simple. We just want to be held. We want to be hugged. And if we could all just recognize that in the times, if you have kids, for example, and they're crying, what they need most from you is to just hug them and hold them. It's going to be okay. You're okay. I got you. Like I could cry right now because there's a part of my consciousness that feels that. And for any of you that have ever experienced a time when that wasn't there for you, start giving that back to yourself. Wrap yourself in a big fuzzy blanket. Put yourself in a cocoon, in a hammock. Hold yourself sacred. Hold yourself in love. I got you. It's okay. Let the divine speak through you. I got you. It's okay. I love you. I love you. It's okay. I love you. I got you. My kids are so amazing. I shared this with Jenny yesterday. My kids are so amazing. And this is part of how we've been consciously raising them too and teaching them. When I go through something and it's very rare these days, but every now and then I have a big kaboom, like a big kaboom. And I recently had one where stuff from my past flooded up, but it was important. It needed to come up. But my nervous system went through all the stuff. My teeth were chattering. My body was convulsing. I was doing all the things. And I knew, because I'd walked myself through and walked my clients through like this so many times, I had to let it happen and use my tools, call my friend, like get the support. Gabriel wasn't here. And I was like, okay. And afterwards, once the tears subsided a bit and I was still very emotional, I was very raw. I sat in the sun because I knew I was like Mother Nature, feet to the ground. Let me be held by Mama Earth. Let me be held by the sun. Let me be held by the wind. Let me be held by the sound of the water. Let me be held by the elements. And I had my hands like this, one on my heart and one down on my belly. Let me be held. Let me feel supported. Let me be loved. Let me be nurtured. And you know what my kids did? They saw me crying and they came one by one at a time, and hugged me and held me. 3, all around me. The twins are 6. Our daughter's 9. They all held me, one in the front, one around me on the side and one at the back, and just held me while I rocked. And I was like, thank you so much. I'm like, you guys are awesome. This is what we would want for everybody. Not judgment, not criticism, not are you trained as a trauma release therapist? I'm sorry, but like, are we here to heal and help and support? Or are we here to judge? Are we here to hold each other sacred, or are we here to look at our certifications? Are we here to get stuck in all the am I in this phase, or am I here to just drop in and hold somebody sacred? I got you. I love you. Let me hold you. I'm going to hold you until you release this. I'm going to hold you until this completes. Got to ask yourself that. And this isn't to knock any of the therapies. I think all of them are amazing and all of them are valid and all of them have a place. But at some point when it comes to your nervous system and you got to recalibrate and you got to reset, especially after you've moved yourself through something, like last weekend, I talked about something happening last weekend. I had another big thing happen. And so I'm in the recalibration phase today. I'm in the restoration, and I can feel the tenderness of that. And as I sit with that, I can feel the softness. So wherever you are in your journey, whatever season, cycle, phase you're at, I would say always bring in the nurturing of your nervous system, using breath, using touch, using Mama Nature, Mother Earth, Gaia, using your connection to Creator God, the infinite, the divine, using having the people around you just say, hey, I just need a hug. Can you just hold me? Yeah, I can. Using music to soothe you, to hold, not to soothe to make it go away like a soother, but to soothe as in you have to then let the nervous system calm down in a natural way, or else it will spring back up because it knows how to guard you, protect you. It knows how to defend for you. So the nourishing, the nurturing part is so important after a reaction, a healing, a transformation, an alchemization. Just modalities I learned was just simply this, and you all can do this. We would anchor one hand on the solar plexus and we would just soothe, just gently sweeping, just like this. It's so soothing. It's so soothing. That soothing energy is so powerful. And that's the part that's going to nurture and recalibrate your nervous system so that it doesn't have to go through that like that again. That something gets communicated to your younger self, to your inner child, to that part of you that went through that, whatever experience was, and it's given exactly what it needs. It's given the love that wasn't there in that moment. It was given the tenderness that wasn't there in that moment. It's given everything, all the healing, all the energy, all the forgiveness, all of it being given to that moment, that child within in that moment. Cranial sacral is amazing too. I agree with you. So this is where you can start to do this for yourself. Definitely go seek support when you need support. Go get support if you don't know what to do. 100%. You don't have to do this on your own. Get support. There's so much available to us now. So many modalities, so many practitioners available. Back then, like 25 years ago, there were very few of us. There were very few of us. I was the resident, like known healer in most of Toronto at the time because there were so few of us doing this work. Now there's so many, you guys. But you can start this process now, whatever you're moving through, even just starting to soothe, right? Soothe. I love you. Many of you in Thrive, you know this. I've said this. I love you. We had a whole practice last year, I think, Peter, it was, or the year before. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Echoing that back to yourself so that you learn to soothe your own system. We all have stuff, you guys. There's not one person on this planet. I had Louise Hay as a client many years ago. Louise Hay was one of my clients. She even had stuff that she had to move through. And I was there. I was the healer that was selected to help her move through that. We all have stuff to move through, you guys. We all do. Doesn't matter your age, your phase, your season, your cycle, how much you know. We all have stuff. Do you have the support? If not, get it. Do you have the tools? If not, learn some. Can you be gentle and easy with yourself? If not, let's try that. Let's take that on. Can you breathe? Yes. Okay, let's breathe. Sometimes we need to come back to the simplicity too, because if it's like step 1 through Z, 1 through 10, A to Z, it's going to be too complicated. You're going to forget. You're going to forget. So Dominic's saying, question, what can we do that is tangible to kickstart probably resetting, I think, our nervous system? I quit sugar many months ago. Amazing. And dropped a ton of weight physically and emotionally. Yeah. I haven't had sugar in my system in 10 years now. Every now and then, but like it's so rare. So I feel you. Sugar is a really great one for sure to omit that from your system. Alcohol is another one to take out of the system. But something very simple is breathing. This, just this. Just try it even. Just this. It's very soft. The other thing that I learned in reflexology as a reflexologist, my kids are calling me here, is rubbing your earlobes. Just one sec, babe. Okay, I'm on live though, babe. So then I think you should go and play someplace else then, okay? Because mommy's live right now on multiple platforms. Okay? Okay, then go do something else. Go play with something. Okay, perfect. So one of the other things is music. Sound bowls are amazing. Just deep breathing. I like getting my feet to nature. I've mentioned all these already, but getting my feet to nature is really, really grounding. It's very supportive for your whole electrical system. I like being held, so I will put in like cozy blankets. Even last night, I put on my cozy, fluffy robe. It's kind of cool here today and yesterday, and just cozying up with a hot cup of tea. Chamomile tea is amazing. If you're in Canada, I don't know if this grows all over the world, but there's an herb that's called, I've studied as an herbologist as well. So there's pineapple chamomile is amazing. It grows everywhere alongside of the ditches. If you just squeeze it, and smell your fingers, it smells like pineapple. That's an incredible soother for your nervous system. Peppermint tea is amazing. Those are things that I would start with that I think anybody can do. Yeah. And just like exactly exhaling, like some people will be like, I don't know what a somatic exhale is. Just exhale, just breathe. Like back in the day, you guys, it was simple. We breathed. We just breathed. Take a deep breath in. You can hold it if you want, see how that feels, and then out through the mouth. Make a sound if you feel called to. Take a deep breath in. Take another deep breath in. And see if you can lengthen the inhale and slow down the exhale. Lengthen the inhale, slow down the exhale. Simple things, simpler the better. And this is coming from someone, like I said, I got like my share of certificates, you guys. I have learned along the way, things are simpler than you think. Overcomplication, it's too much. It's too much. It's like if I said to a child right now, go and do the X da 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 la 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 breath. They're going to be like, I like to explain it to a child. If you can teach it to a child and the child gets it, that's the way. Just breathe. Baby girl, just breathe. Take a deep breath in with me. Release the breath. Take a deep breath in, baby girl. And the other thing that I do is I say, I love you, baby. I love you. I love you so much. So for those of you that need that, you need to hear that today. I love you. I want you to know that you're loved. I want you to know that you're held. I want you to know that you're supported. That whatever you might be moving through, whatever you've gone through, whatever your past has been, it's okay. You're okay. You're safe. You're held. You're loved. You're supported. You're loved. You are loved. You are loved. Okay? So hopefully this has been helpful. If you guys want more on this, send me a private message. You can come into Thrive. Thrive is an incredible program where we teach all of these things. We give you the tools so that you know how to self-heal, self-regulate, move yourself through. It's a beautiful program. It's the culmination of both Gabriel and I, because my husband, he's been doing this work since he was 3. He's been meditating since he was 3, kind of like Megan. And so this is our life's work. And so I love you all so, so much. If you want to go deeper on this, there's Thrive. If you have other people in your world that are practitioners, that are healers, whatever type of healing you need, seek it out, go get it. Like get support if you need support for sure. And then I would say, the last thing that I want to mention for all of you is that be gentle on yourself. Be really gentle on yourself. We're really hard on ourselves, and that comes from the perfectionist. I've been the good girl, the perfectionist, the workhorse, like you guys, like every archetype that's been out there. I've studied the archetypes too. I've done it all. I've been it all. I've learned it all. Someone's crying, so I'm going to have to go tend to that. But what I would love for you to do is just be gentle on yourself. The last thing that I will say, I love you too, Tika. Thank you so much. Thank you. We are hosting a free masterclass tonight if you haven't yet heard. It's starting at 7 p.m. This one's all about focus. So refocusing you, especially when it comes to your manifestations. And I think manifestations play a part in everything, manifesting your health, your wealth, your happiness, your joy, your relationships, everything. So if you want to come and attend, just type the word focus and either myself or Alexandra will make sure that you get the link for that. It's free. It's 40 minutes. It's called 40 Minutes to Focus. It's going to help you refocus, step out of all the craziness, the nonsense. There's so much stuff that's pulling our attention these days, and it's just confusing us and keeping us wrapped up in the weeds. And we need to release ourselves now. Okay. So I love you all. If you want to come and attend, type the word focus. We'll see those of you that are attending tonight. We'll see you at 7 p.m. I hope that this was helpful. Remember to keep it simple. Remember to nourish yourselves. Get the help and support that you need. And just know that you're loved. you can go and start soothing yourself right now. I have playlists, I put on music and I wrap myself in a blanket and I will chant and I will sing and I will hold myself. And if I need support, I'll call my friends that are healers and I will get the support. Gabriel, when he came home, I was like, I just need a big hug, and he held me. My kids will hold me, you know? So it's like, it's important to get the support when you need it, but just know right now in this moment that whatever you're moving through, it's for your growth, it's for your expansion, it's for your release, it's for your resolution so that you can ultimately be free. That's really what your soul is asking for you, wanting you to be free, free from the past, free from the stuff. Let go. Let's breathe a little deeper today. Let's love a little bigger. And I love y'all. I love you so, so much. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for being here. We'll see you soon. Bye.